my god, this book is 1,000 pages. I'm so excited, but I'm kind of scared. Would you believe me if I told you that I never read nor watched the Harry Potter series? Hey, what's up? My name is Ange. Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we are going to be going over 26 books that I want to read in 2026. I did this last year where I did 25 books that I want to read in 2025. So starting off, I want to give you an update on how I did with that, because I'm finishing out the one book that I'm reading and I probably will not pick up any more from this, so I figured it's okay to tell you how I did from last year, because more than likely I'm not going to pick anything else up. Obviously, like I said, I had 25 books on here. I read 9, 10, 11, 12 books out of the 25 books, so it's a little bit less than half of the books that I put on here. When I'm looking at the books, I'm not surprised that I didn't get to them. We'll start it off there. So it's a very weird reading year for me. I just completed my goal of 75 books. I had a month where I read 2 books. I had a month where I read 9. I want to make sure that I make better habits in 2026 as far as finishing series and maybe not buying the entire series before I actually even read the first one, or that I'm not gonna like it, things like that. Reading all the books on my physical TBR, really like trying to get those numbers down, because I have literally an entire 2 bookshelves, literally almost full, about almost full of books that I have not read yet, but have, because all my other books are stored somewhere else. I'm just trying to make better goals for 2026. So hopefully the 26 books in 2026 can get maybe just like a little bit more at least completed than 2025 did. So out of these books, obviously I didn't read 13 of them. I never ended up getting to Watch Me by Tahara Mafi, the New Republic #1 in the Shatter Me universe. Never got to Burn Bright by Kristen Becker-Ritchie, which is Cobalt Empire #1. I ended up buying that. Funny story, I actually ended up buying 2. I pre-ordered from Amazon and Barnes, didn't even realize until they both showed up, and I was like, hi everyone. The good thing with that is that I did end up finishing the Like Us series, which when I made this list, I did not. So in order to continue on with the Cobalt Empire series and start that, I needed to finish the Like Us series, which I did end up doing, so claps for that, because at least that was done. I never ended up reading Fall With Me by Becca Mack, nor did I read the Grandest Game series, The Grandest Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Didn't read Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings, Magnolia Parks #2. Neither. I didn't read Throttled by Lauren Asher, Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I never read The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I also never read Don't Kill Me. I never read Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. That one still has yet to be read. I feel like I just am so scared and intimidated to start it. I'll do it at some point, but I'm not even putting it on the list. Like, I'm telling you right now that it's not on the 26 in 2026. I also never got to A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston, Promises and Pomegranates by Savar Miller, Flock by Kate Stewart, or last but not least, The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. Never got to any of those, but I did get a good portion of them done, a little bit less than half. I'm not unhappy with it. Now, getting into the fun part, the 26 books that I want to read in 2026. I have all of the Goodread pages up for what each one of these books are about. So I have my computer right in front of me. I'm going to go through them all. I'm going to do the new releases in 2026 first, and then I'm going to go through the rest of them. I want to preface this by saying a lot of these books are what's on my physical TBR, besides the ones that aren't released yet. I want to make this year about continuing series, reading books that I have, and trying not to buy as many books that are just going to sit there, because in my head, reading books and buying books are completely 2 different hobbies. I refuse to believe that they're the same thing. Just saying. I can't, like, I'm not the type of person that's like, oh, but I have so many books on my shelf, like, I shouldn't go to Barnes, I can't go. Like, or I'll go, but I won't buy anything. I can't do that. I have no self-control. You let me loose at a Barnes & Noble, you're not gonna find me. Sorry. Let's get into the 26 books. Starting off with new releases. The first book that I want to read, I'll go over here so we can put the books right here. The first book that I want to read is Dear Debbie by Frida McFadden. This one comes out on January 27th, which is very early on in the year, so I'm very, very excited for that. Frida, you're pumping out books like nobody's business. Oh, a giveaway. Hold on, we're entering a giveaway on Goodreads. Okay, cool, we've entered the giveaway. Anyway, Now I lost the page. Dear Debbie is gonna be her newest release that I still cannot find because now I have lost it. Sometimes enough is enough. Debbie Mullen is losing it. For years, she has compiled all of her best advice into her column, Dear Debbie, where the wives of New England come for sympathy and neighborly advice. Through her work, Debbie has heard from countless women who have ignored, belittled, or even abused by their husbands, and Debbie does her best to guide them in the right direction, or at least she did. These days, Debbie's life seems to be spiraling out of control. She just lost her job. Something strange is happening with her teenage daughter, and her husband is keeping secrets, according to the tracking app she installed on his phone. Now, Debbie's done being the bigger person. She's done being reasonable and practical. It's time to take her own advice. And now it's time for payback against all the people in her life who deserve it the most. I am so excited. I run through Freida McFadden books like nobody's business. They are the books for me that's like, I'm going to sit down right now and I'm going to literally read it cover to cover because I just read through them so fast. I need to know what happens. I'm so excited for this one. I will probably be picking this up on release day and really trying hard to finish it on release day. The next book that I want to read is also a new release. It comes out on March 3rd. This one is In Her Own League by Liz Tomforty. This is in the same world as Windy City, but it's not part of the Windy City series. We don't know that is a completed series. Very, very good. Please go read it if you haven't. As the first female team owner in Major League Baseball, Reese Remington has spent her entire life preparing for this role. With a sharp mind and years of experience working behind the scenes, she's more than qualified. But the public only sees a woman in a man's world, not the person who's earned their place on the field. Under constant scrutiny and pressure to prove herself, Reese can't afford distractions, especially one that comes in the form of the team's tempting field manager who questions her every decision. Emmett Montgomery is a former all-star turned coach who treats his players like family and the field like home. After years of running the team his way, the last thing he wants is a new boss, let alone one who seems ice-cold and laser-focused on business. But forced to spend long hours and too many away games side by side, he begins to see the fire beneath Reese's control, the heart behind her ambition, and the unwavering determination to prove herself. When heated banter turns into sizzling chemistry, professional boundaries blur and the spark between them becomes impossible to resist. But Reese is constantly reminded of how many people are waiting for her to fail, and the safest move is to keep Emmett at arm's length for the sake of the team, the season, and her career. But keeping their distance is one game neither of them seem to win. I am so excited to read this book. I wanted a Monty in a book so bad when I was reading it, and now like when I was reading whatever one that was at Play Along, whatever book it was, I'm gonna find it. I know the cover. I think it's Caught Up. Yes, I've been wanting to read a Monty book since I saw him in Caught Up. I was like, this is gonna be interesting. And then like further on in the series when we met Reese, but like we got like little snippets of her, I was so excited. So it's gonna be so good. The next book is also a new release, and this is Once and Again by Rebecca Searle, which comes out on March 10th. Rebecca Searle's books really get me. I just love the magic realism of all of them. So this one I'm very excited for. It says, the women of the Novak family were each born with a gift. They can, just once, turn back in time. Lauren has known since she was 15 that her mother, Marcella, saved Lauren's father from a deadly car accident. Dave is alive and happy and out on the Malibu waves. But ever since, Marcella, has her power spent, has lived in fear of what she won't be able to reverse. Her own mother, Sylvia, is her polar opposite. A free-spirited iconoclast? I can't read. With a glamorous past she only hints at. Lauren has spent her life between these two role models and waiting for her own catastrophe to strike. Then one summer, Lauren's husband takes a job in New York and she moves back to Broad Beach Road, back into her childhood home on the shores of Malibu. Lauren looks forward to surfing with her dad again and perhaps repairing an unspoken fracture in her relationship with her mother. What she doesn't expect is for the boy next to door? That looks weird. What she doesn't expect is the boy next door to return home as well. Stone, Lauren's first love, who broke her heart nearly a decade before. As Lauren falls into familiar patterns with her family and, more dangerously, Stone, she finds herself thinking about all the choices, large and small, that have brought her to this moment, and wondering, finally, if one of them should be undone. It's only 256 pages. Kind of scared. I'm so excited, but I'm kind of scared. The next book, staying on theme, which also is a new release, is Unbound by Peyton Corinne, which comes out on April 7th. I'm so excited for this one. I absolutely love both of the books in the Undone series, so if you haven't read either one of them, please go read them. They're so good. This one, yes, is about Paloma Blake. I'm so excited to read her book. And Bennett Rayner. I don't know how to say his last name. I'm going to say Rayner. Paloma Blake is, at best, antagonistic, but beneath the hairspray attitude and promiscuity, is a scared girl whose trauma runs deep. Still, the walls she's built are strong, ensuring everyone only sees Paloma's sexy facade, everyone except for Bennett. Bennett Rayner, the carefully controlled neurodivergent goalie, has his routines and sticks to them, which helps him keep a hold of his OCD compulsions and the crippling anxiety that comes with them. The quiet and meticulous Bennett sees everything, especially the girl beneath Paloma's ever-present masks, and he always has. Unbeknownst to their friends, Bennett and Paloma were each other's first real love, which ended in crippling heartbreak. Bennett still doesn't know what happened, and Paloma is determined to stay away from the comfort she used to find only in his arms. For years, Bennett has remained her protective shadow, coming to Paloma's rescue whenever she asks, keeping her as close and safe as she'll let him. But like a tumultuous sea to a constant shore, Bennett and Paloma find each other once more. I'm so excited. I can't wait for that book. It's gonna be so good. I wanted to read their book so bad, and just like, oh my god, 496 pages. Oh my god, I'm so excited. The last book that I want to read that is a new release is The Book Witch by Meg Schaffer. And this one also comes out on April 7th, so I will be at Barnes & Noble the minute they open on April 7th. I don't remember where I saw this. I don't know if I was listening to a podcast, if I was watching YouTube. I don't know what I was doing, but I know that I heard someone say this, and not somebody that I personally know. But this one also seems really interesting, so I added it. Rainey March is a proud third-generation book witch, sworn to defend works of fiction from all foes, real and imaginary. With her magical umbrella and feline familiar, she jumps in and out of novels to fix malicious alterations and rogue heroes. Book witches live by a strict, real people belong in the real world, fictional characters belong in works of fiction. Do not eat, drink, or sleep inside a fictional world, lest you become part of the story. Falling in love with a fictional character? Don't even think about it. Which is why Rainey has been forbidden from seeing The Duke of Chicago, the dashing British detective who stars in her favorite mystery series. If she's ever caught with him again, she'll be expelled from her book coven and forced to give up the magical gifts that are as much a part of her as her own name. But when her beloved grandfather disappears and a priceless book is stolen, there's only one person she trusts to help her solve the case, which is the Duke. Their quest takes them through the worlds of Alice in Wonderland, The Great Gatsby, and other classics that will reveal hidden enemies and long-buried family secrets. I am so excited. That one, honestly, let's just make this in a game. How many times can I say that I'm so excited to read a book? A ton. But honestly, I don't have any other word to describe that I am really excited to read this book. This one seems so interesting because how many times have we as readers wanted to jump into a book that we absolutely loved and go experience it? Like, I want to talk to Garrett Graham. I'm sorry, I do. I want to talk to Garrett Graham. I'm totally blanking on everybody else that I've ever wanted to speak to in any other book that I've ever wanted to jump into. But like, do you get it? You get it. You get it. I don't even have to keep talking. From last year's, right? I'm putting this back on because I did finish the Like Us series. So this year I want to read Burn Bright by Kristen Beck Ritchie, which is Cobalt Empire #1. And I want to read this one, and I didn't add 2 or 3 because I'm just starting with this one. 2 or 3 are coming out, 2 and 3 are coming out this year as well. So I want to at least get book 1 done well before 2 and 3 come out. So if you don't know, the Cobalt Empire is the Cobalt kids, which are the kids from the Addicted Calloway Sister series, Rose and Connor. It's all their kids. Some of their kids, one. Any other kids? Yeah, one kid is from the Like Us series, so she gets some books there, but the Cobalt Empire is going to follow the rest of the kids. You know what hasn't been announced yet, though, is Charlie's book. Just saying. But get back onto this. This is not about Charlie. The Cobalt Empire #1, which is Burn Bright. This one says, love burns hottest when it's blue. Ben Cobalt is #6, now 6th place. In fact, he'd be considered at least 3rd draft pick for the NHL if he didn't quit hockey during college. And he's not 6th in line for any throne, though most consider his larger-than-life billionaire family American royalty. He's the 6th-born Cobalt. I love the Cobalts. Out of a normal family of 7, he might get lost in the shuffle, but being the black sheep of the Cobalt Empire comes with its own intense spotlight. After he hits a major low at college in Philly, his 4 older brothers convince him to move in with them in New York City, transferring to Manhattan Valley University, piece of cake. Living in an apartment with all of his brothers while harboring a giant secret among a family who's more tight-knit than a secret society, total effing chaos. He has to find a way out of the tense living arrangement, especially as he clashes with his older brother Charlie. Ben turns to an unlikely source of help, a grumpy punk rock girl with a troubled past who's already pissed off one Cobalt brother. So when undeniable attraction ignites, Harriet Fisher is expecting the flames to die out, except what happens when they don't. Falling for a cobalt brother with secrets might be a Shakespearean tragedy she cannot rewind. I love the kobolds. I love the kobolds. I love the kobolds. I'm getting to this year now that the Leica series is done. Or now that, I mean, it's been done. Now that I'm done. Like I said, I am really wanting to get through a lot of my physical TBR and finishing series that I already started. So this next one is City of Ashes, which is Mortal Instruments #2. I read this series like years and years ago. I was probably in like middle school or a little bit later than that. I think I read like 4 of the books and then never continued. Read the first one. I reread it again, but again, didn't remember any of it. And now I want to continue it because I have the whole book series. So this one is the continuation of Clary Frey. If you have not read the Mortal Instruments series and you want to read it, I don't want to spoil it. That's probably going to be said a lot throughout this whole thing, because if I'm talking about the second book in a series or third or whatever, then I don't want to read the synopsis or summary, whatever, and tell you things that are said in the first book that I don't remember being like a spoiler. So I'm not going to read this, but I want to continue on with the Immortal Instruments series. I only put book 2 on here, but I would like to continue it throughout this whole year. But again, only put book 2 on here for the ease of it. So Mortal Instruments #2 by Cassandra Clare. The same thing goes for, I started the Zodiac Academy this year by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. I did read book #1. I liked it. I did not love it. I know people like either absolutely love it or absolutely hate it. I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle. I tried really hard to take books for what they are and not be too like, no, I don't like that trope, like whatever, and just take the book, again, like I said, as it is. So the next book that I want to read is Zodiac Academy #2, which is Ruthless Fae. I wasn't a huge fan of like the bully romance part of it, but we're trying. So I want to continue on with the series. Again, I'm not going to read this because I don't want to spoil anything, but these books get like big. I have the entire series. So I want to continue. Again, let me reiterate the same exact thing that I just said. I do want to read the rest of the series, or at least try and read more than just the second book during 2026, but I only put the second book on here for the time being, just for it being easy. I actually just picked this book up yesterday, which is Shield of Sparrows by Devoney Perry. She wrote the Indigo Ridge series. Forget if that's the actual name of it, but she just came out with this book not too long ago. It's definitely in 2025. I think it was in the midpoint of 2025. I did pick it up yesterday when Barnes & Noble was having their 25% off after Christmas. So excited. This book is thick. For some reason, I thought it was a standalone. It's not a standalone. I'm looking on here and it says Shield of Sparrows #1. So here I am starting a new series, even though I didn't want to do that. Whatever. Let's try it. Let's read it. So it says, the gods sent monsters to the 5 kingdoms to remind mortals they must kneel. I spent my life kneeling, to their will and to my father's. As a princess, my only duty is to wear the crown and obey the king. I was never meant to rule, never meant to fight, and I was never supposed to be the daughter who sealed an ancient treaty with her own blood. But that changed the fateful day I stepped into my father's throne room, the day a legendary monster hunter sailed to our shores, the day a prince ruined my life. Now I'm crossing treacherous lands beside a warrior who despises me as much as I despise him. Bound to a future I didn't choose and a husband I barely know. Everyone wants me to be something I'm not, a queen, a spy, a sacrifice. But what if I refused the role chosen for me? What if I made my own rules? What if there's power in being underestimated? And what if, for the first time, I reach for it? So this is a romantasy, and it says it's perfect for fans of Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros. Obviously, I didn't read Fourth Wing, so I can't relate on that level, but I have read almost everything by Sarah J. Maas except for Crescent City, so I think I'm really gonna love this. So I needed a good romantasy. I'm kind of like not loving romance, like just basic romance right now. You'll be very confused when I talk about some of the books that are on here when I say that, but whatever. I have not really been loving just basic romance. I feel like I wanted to something a little bit more, so I was really excited when I picked this one up. The next book that I want to read is Us Against You by Frederick Bachman, which is Beartown #2. I did just read Beartown. That was like an incredible book. I rated it 5 stars. It was like the second to last read of the year. I read it like 2 books ago, I think. I don't even know. I read it in December and I absolutely loved it, so I do want to continue on with the series. I think that there's 3 of them, but I could be wrong. I'm not going to read the summary of this because I don't want it spoiled for you. If you have not read Beartown and you like fiction books like that, you have to go read it. I think it's a contemporary fiction. It's not loading, so I can't tell you how many there are. It was really, really good, and I highly recommend it. So I do want to read Beartown #2. The next book that I want to read was also on my 25 and 2025 that I never got to, but I feel like I just have to. I feel like I'm the only person in the world who has not read this, and that is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. No, never read any of them. Watched the majority of the movies except for the newer ones, and I just feel like I'm missing out so much on them. And I don't think, at least I've only have the first one, I don't think that they're too big, so I feel like they should be easy reads for me. I'm sure you know what the Hunger Games is, so I feel like I don't need to recap on that, but I want to get to that this year as well. The next book that I want to read is also the beginning of a series, a duology, trilogy. I don't even know. I didn't look into it too far. I was listening to the I'll Read What She's Reading podcast, and I forget who said it, but it was Pines by Blake Crouch, which is Wayward Pines #1. And it sounded very interesting, and it is a shorter book. It's 300 pages, which is a short book in comparison to like some of the other things that I've read or some of the other books I've even mentioned today. But like I said, I was listening to that podcast, and I wanted to get into just other genres and try other things out. So this one seems super interesting to me, so I picked it up at Barnes the other day when I was there. It says, Wayward Pines, Idaho is a quintessential small town America, or so it seems. Secret Service agent Ethan Burke arrives in search of 2 missing federal agents, yet soon is facing much more than he bargained for. After a violent accident lands him in the hospital, Ethan comes to with no ID and no cell phone. The medical staff seems friendly enough, but sometimes feels off. As days pass, Ethan's investigation into his colleague's disappearance turns up more questions than answers. Why can't he make contact with his family in the outside world? Why doesn't anyone believe he is who he says he is? And what's the purpose of the electrified fences encircling the town? Are they keeping the residents in or something else out? Each step toward the truth takes Ethan further from the world he knows until he must face a horrifying fact: he may never get out of Wayward Pines alive. I'm so excited. Oh, what is that? Like the 15th time I said that. The next book is something that I had on 2025 as well, but I did just put the first book in the series instead of the second because I do want to reread it because it's been so long since I've read it, and that's Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. Last year I had Daisy Hates on there, which is book number 2, but I did get my Magnolia Parks copy from the other place that I keep all of my books that I've read already, and I want to reread it and then continue on with the series because, again, it's been so long since I read it. Like, let me see, when did I read it? April of 2024. I don't remember a lot of that book. I'm gonna reread it. Magnolia Parks Universe #1. It says, she is a beautiful, affluent, self-involved, and mildly neurotic London socialite. He is Britain's most photographed bad boy, Lothario, who broke her heart. But Magnolia Parks and BJ Valentine are meant to be, and everyone knows it. They're in the stars, just suspended in a strange kind of love that looks like hurting each other a lot of the time. She dates other people to keep him at bay. He sleeps with other girls to get back at her for it. But at the end of the day, every sad endeavor to get over one another is still each other they crawl back to. But their dysfunction is catching up with them, pulling at their seams and fraying the world they've built. A world where neither has to ever let go of the other one completely. As the cracks start to show and secrets begin to surface, Magnolia and BJ are finally forced to face the formidable question they've been avoiding all their lives. How many loves do you really get in a lifetime? Dare I say that I am excited to reread it and then continue on, because I think I have Magnolia Parks, obviously I reread it, or am rereading it, Daisy Hates, and then Long Way Home. I have a different one. I don't know. I think I have 1, 2, and 3. The next book is also the continuation of a series. It is The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy, which is Campus Diaries #3. These are they interconnected standalones? You have to read the other ones. I feel like they're interconnected standalones, but I could be wrong. I always usually read them in order. These are all like kids from the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy and Briar U, so I feel like, I don't know if this is anybody's kids, but like the first one was Gigi Graham, which is Garrett Graham's daughter, and then some of them are their kids. Just like, anyway, it's the next generation of them. This one says, college senior Charlotte Kingston is living 2 lives, and she's nailing both of them. By day, she's the perfect sorority girl, a STEM student in biomedical engineering, and the adopted daughter of an overachiever family. At night, she's Charlie, a risk-taking daredevil looking for fun who finds herself chatting on dating apps with 2 anonymous hotties. Will Larson may seem like the breezy boy next door, but his congressman father is a constant thorn in his side. After a scandal hits another D1 hockey program, Will's dad is determined to distance his son from it, hiring a journalist to prove how squeaky clean Will and his teams are. It means the last thing Will wants is for anyone to find out he and his best friend Beckett Dunn, a laid-back Aussie shielding secret heartache, sometimes share girls in the bedroom. When Charlie meets them in person and realizes she's been chatting with 2 gorgeous Briar U hockey players, things get steamy fast, but all their messy secrets are piling up, and real life soon threatens to shatter the fantasy. With Charlie, Will, and Beckett all coming to terms with what they want and what others want for them, difficult decisions will need to be made, especially when lust starts to look a lot like love. Typically, I don't love when there's more than just the 2 people in the relationship. That trope is just not really for me. I only to give it a shot because a lot of people talk about how it's really good. So I have this copy. I want to continue the series, so I will be trying it out. The next book that I want to read is Kings of Sin #5, which is King of Envy by Anna Huang. This one I had the copy and I just never got to it for some reason, but this one says he had everything he could have wanted except her. Dangerous, powerful, reclusive. Vuk Markovic is notorious for shunning human interactions. Same. The sacred billionaire rarely talks, and he has no interest in relationships outside his small but trusted circle. His only exception, her. The beauty of his beast, the object of his obsession. Saw her first, he wanted her first, but now she's engaged to his oldest friend, and the closer the wedding looms, the more he's torn between loyalty and desire. She should be his, and he might just risk it all to have her. Beautiful, successful, glamorous. To the world's supermodel, Ayana Kidane? I'm really bad at names. Leads the perfect life. Her career is skyrocketed and she's engaged to one of New York's most eligible bachelors. What people don't know is that the engagement is only a business arrangement. He gets his inheritance when they marry, she gets the money she needs to leave her abusive agency. Pretending to be in love should be easy, until she finds herself increasingly drawn to her fiancé's enigmatic. Words are really hard. Best man. Book thrills and terrifies her in equal measure. She knows she should stay away, but when her wedding is thrown into chaos, he's the only person she finds comfort in, until his past catches up with them and threatens everything they love. I love the idea of this. I don't know why I never got to it. I loved the little like breadcrumbs we got in the other books of them. I really loved Vuk. I don't know how to say his name. Sorry. I really did love seeing the breadcrumbs of them in other books, so I don't know why I never picked this one up, but I just didn't reach for it. So very excited for that. Oh my god, this book is 1,000 pages. It's gonna take me 12 years. Whatever. The next book that I want to read is one that's like blowing up everywhere right now, and it's Alchemized by Sin Lin Yu. I'm sorry if I butchered the name. I apologize. I feel like, was this the one that was like a Draco fanfic? Okay, yes. So Alchemized by Sin Lin Yu, sorry again, is traditionally published, reimagined version of the wildly popular Harry Potter Hermione, I don't know, whatever their ship name is, Draco and Hermione fanfiction called Manacled. Never read it. Don't know. Everyone's talking about it. I felt left out. I got peer pressured. I picked the book up. Okay? I did. I've also never read Harry Potter. I've never even seen the movies. Would you believe me if I told you that I never read nor watched the Harry Potter series? Sorry. Never did it. This one says, in this riveting dark fantasy debut, a woman with missing memories fights to survive a war-torn world of necromancy. Oh my god. And alchemy, and the man tasked with unearthing the deepest secrets of her past. What is it you think you're protecting in that brain of yours? The war is over. Hold fast is dead. The eternal flame extinguished. There's no one left for you to save. Once a promising alchemist, Helena Marino is now a prisoner of war and of her own mind. Her resistance, friends, and allies have been brutally murdered, her abilities suppressed, and the world she knew destroyed. In the aftermath of a long war, Palladia's new ruling class of corrupt guild, families and depraved necromancers whose vile undead creatures helped bring with their victory, holds Helena captive. According to the resistance records, she was a healer of little importance within their ranks, but Helena has inexplicable memory loss of the months leading up to her capture, making her enemies wonder, is she truly as insignificant as she appears, or her lost memories hiding some vital piece of the resistance final gambit? To uncover the memories buried deep within her mind, Helena is sent to the High Reeve, one of the most powerful and ruthless necromancers in the world. Trapped on its crumbling estate, Helena's fight to protect her lost history and to preserve the last remaining shreds of her former self is just the beginning. For her prison and captor have secrets of their own, secrets Helena must unearth, whatever the cost. I was peer pressured by myself to read this book, so I bought it. We'll see what happens. Following up with that, I want to read Harry Potter. I never read Harry Potter. I didn't pick up not one book. I just didn't do it. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. I just never picked one of them up. So I do want to get to that at some point during 2026. I feel like I don't want to recap on it because I don't even myself want to read the summary of any of the books. So I want to read Harry Potter. We're leaving it at that. The next book that I want to read is A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman. I am on a Frederick Bachman kick. I read Beartown, absolutely loved it. Got A Man Called Ove. Also have, like I said, the Beartown #2. So I want to read this one as well. This one says Meet Ove. Or Ovi. I forget what's the Ove is like how I'm saying it, but I feel like there's a correct way to say it. I just don't remember what it is. So Meet Ove. He's a curmudgeon. Oh my gosh. The kind of man who points at people he dislikes as if they were burglars caught outside his bedroom window. He has staunch principles, strict routines, and a short fuse. People call him the bitter neighbor from hell, but must Obe be bitter just because he doesn't walk around with a smile plastered to his face all the time? Behind the cranky exterior, there is a story and a sadness. So when one November morning and a chatty young couple with 2 chatty young daughters move in next door and accidentally flatten Ove's mailbox, it is a lead into a comical and heartwarming tale of unkept cats, unexpected friendship, and the ancient art of backing up a U-Haul, all of which will change one cranky old man and a local residents association to their very foundations. I feel like this was going to break my heart. Let's read it. The next book that I want to read is You Deserve to Know by Aggie Blund Thompson. This one had caught my eye multiple times when I went into Barnes. I added it to my book wish list and then I got it for Christmas. So this one says, neighbors Gwen, Amy, and Lisa share more than play dates and coffee mornings on their tranquil streets in East Bethesda? I think it's Bethesda. They confide their deepest secrets, navigate the challenges of motherhood together, and provide a support system that seems unbreakable. But when Gwen's husband is found murdered after one of their weekly Friday night dinners, the peaceful quiet of their cul-de-sac shatters. Their seemingly idyllic, yes, I never can say that word, world of the 3 close-knit mom friends become a web of deception, betrayal, and revenge. As the police investigate, the veneer of friendship begins to crack, revealing hidden tensions, clandestine affairs, and long-buried jealousies among the 3 women. With suspicious mounting and the neighborhood gripped by fear, Gwen, Amy, and Lisa must confront the chilling truth about their husbands and the sinister undercurrents in their own friendship. I cannot wait. The next book that I want to read is All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zvada. She's like the queen of slow burn, so I'm super excited to read it. This one says, losing people you love is hard. Aurora De La Torre knows moving back to a place that was once home isn't going to be easy. Starting your whole life over probably isn't supposed to be. But a small town in the mountains might be the perfect remedy for a broken heart. Checking out her landlord across the driveway just might cure it too. Literally all it says on Goodreads. I want to read it. The next book that I want to read was also on 25 in 2025, and that is The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. But I did get the physical copy of this book finally, even though this was on my thing last year, but I just didn't buy it. So I do want to read this one. I have the physical copy, like I said, so I feel like I'll reach for it now. This one says, my name was Salmon, like the fish, the first name Susie. I was 14 when I was murdered on December 6, 1973. So begins the story of Susie Salmon, who is adjusting to her new home in heaven, a place that is not at all what she expected, even as she is watching life on Earth continue without her. Her friends trading rumors about her disappearance, her killer trying to cover his tracks, her grief-stricken family unraveling. Out of the unspeakable tragedy and loss, the Lovely Bones succeed miraculously in building a tale filled with hope, humor, suspense, and even joy. Love the movie, was really excited to read the book and then never got to it, so we're doing that this year. The next book that I want to read was also in 25 and 2025, and that is Playing for Keeps #4 by Becca Mack, which is Fall With Me. It says, it was supposed to be a one-night stand, but what if they can't leave it in the past? Jackson Riley is exceptional at 3 things. Starting fights on the ice, picking up women post-game, and going home to fulfill his role as the world's best cat dad. Relationships, unfortunately, missed the list. Lennon Hayes is supposed to be on her honeymoon. Instead, she's alone and single, vacationing next door to a surly, tattooed man who ran his date off the resort. When a run-in at the bar results in a night of bickering and cocktails, she finds herself tumbling into bed with the enemy next door, then sneaking out before the sun comes up. Lenna's plan to start over in a new city is going great until she starts a new job. Vancouver Vipers' new photographer, and the defenseman scowling at her from across the room, the one-night stand she wasn't supposed to see again. Good thing neither of them were looking for anything serious, right? Jackson may not be used to falling, but if he's gonna go, he refuses to go alone. If he falls, he wants Lennon to fall with him. I cannot even begin to explain why I never got to this one. I just didn't. Other things just took priority, and then this one just fell into the back burner, and then I didn't have a physical copy of it, and I didn't pick it up. It's on Kindle. Why did I never... I don't know. I just didn't. Getting to it, I promise. I read books 1 and I believe 3. Iffy on that, and again, Goodreads not loading right. Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. So I do want to read book number 2, which is yours truly. I got that one for Christmas, so I will be picking it up. And this one says, Dr. Brianna Ortiz's life is seriously flatlining. Her divorce is just about finalized. Her brother is running out of time to find a kidney donor, and the promotion she wants, oh, that's probably going to the new man doctor who's already registering 80-7 on Brianna's pain in my ass scale. But when all systems are set to hate, Dr. Jacob Maddox completely flips the game by sending Brianna a letter. It's a really good letter, like the kind that proves that Jacob isn't actually Satan. Worse, he might be this fantastically funny and subversively likable guy who's terrible at first impressions, because suddenly he and Bray are exchanging letters, sharing lunch sheets in the Saab closet, and discussing on the merits of freakishly tiny horses. But when Jacob decides to give Brianna the best gift imaginable, a kidney for her brother, she wonders just how she can resist the quietly sexy new doctor, especially when she calls in a favor she cannot refuse. This one sounds so interesting. Like, everything about that, like, it's just like, whoa, I have to get to that. There's so many books I want to read, and there's just so not enough time in the world. The next book was actually like one of, like, in my brain, one I saw all the time, an OG TikTok or book talk book, and that is The Bodyguard by Catherine Senner. I never ended up reading it. I wanted to read it so bad, and then I just never picked it up, so I have it, so I want to read it now. It says, she's got his back. Hannah Brooks looks more like a kindergarten teacher than somebody who could kill you with a wine bottle opener, or a ballpoint pen, or a dinner napkin. But the truth is, she's an executive protection agent, aka the Bodyguard, and she just got hired to protect superstar Jack Stapleton from his middle-aged, quirky breeding stalker. He's got her heart. Jack Stapleton's a household name, captured by paparazzi on beaches the world over, famous for, among other things, rising out of the waves in all manner of clingy boardshorts and glistening like a Roman deity. A few years back, in the wake of a family tragedy, he dropped from the public eye and went off the grid. They've got a secret. When Jack's mom gets sick, he goes home to the family's Texas ranch to help out. Only one catch. He doesn't want his family to know about his stalker or the bodyguard thing, and so Hannah, against her will and her better judgment, finds herself pretending to be Jack's girlfriend as cover, even though her ex says no one will believe it. What could possibly go wrong? Hannah hardly believes it herself, but the more time she spends with Jack, the more real it all starts to seem. And there lies the heartbreak, because it's easy for Hannah to protect Jack, but protecting her own long-neglected heart, that's the hardest thing she's ever done. You never hear that about, like, the girl being the bodyguard. Except for, like, Us series, there's one girl bodyguard, but I'm just saying, like, it's not, like, typical, so I'm excited. Another book that I want to read is The Hunting Wives by May Cobb. It says, the Hunting Wives share more than target practice, martinis, and bad behavior in this novel of obsession, seduction, and murder. Sophie O'Neill left behind an envy-inspiring career and the stressful competitive life of big city Chicago to settle down with her husband and young son in a small Texas town. It seems like the perfect life with a beautiful home and an idyllic, that word again, rural community, but Sophie soon realizes that life is now too quiet and she's feeling bored and restless. Then she meets Margot Banks, an alluring socialite who's part of an elite clique secretly known as the Hunting Wives. Sophie finds herself completely drawn to Margot and swept into a mysterious world of late-night target practice and dangerous partying. As Sophie's curiosity gives way to full-blown obsession, she slips further away from the safety of her family and deeper into the nest of vipers. When the body of a teenage girl is discovered in the woods where the Hunting Wives meet, Sophie finds herself in the middle of a murder investigation and her life spiraling out of control. What is it about, like, rich women in neighborhoods that do things that they shouldn't be doing that is so intriguing to me? I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm excited. And finally, the last book that I want to read in 2026 is one that is definitely out for me because I feel like I've been wanting to read a lot of fiction books, and this one I've seen all over. I've seen amazing reviews, and it is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. I see amazing things of this book, and I look at it every time I go to Barnes. I never pick it up, and I'm like, I gotta read you. So this one says, deep underground, 40 women live imprisoned in a cage. Watched over by guards, the women have no memory of how they got there, no notion of time, and only a vague recollection of their lives before. As the burn of electric light merges day into night, and numberless years pass, a young girl, the 40th prisoner, sits alone and outcast in the corner. Soon, she will show herself to be the key to the others' escape and survival in the strange world that awaits them above ground. Oh, that's it? That's it. The other part is about the author. That's it. I'm excited. I feel like those are all really good books. I'm super excited to read, honestly, all of them. So those are 26 books that I want to read during 2026. I'm really hoping to do a little bit better than I did in 2025. Read maybe 70% of the books at least. I really want to get through a lot of series this year. I want to read books that are on my physical TBR, and I just want to read better books and not just books that everybody else is reading, even though I totally got peer pressured again by myself to read Alchemized, but we'll see how that goes. I want to just read books that I'm interested in. I'm trying not to do monthly TBRs and doing more maybe seasonal TBRs, and reading better books that I want to read, not ones that just I'm reading because everyone else is reading. So I really hope that 2026 is a really great year for the things that I want to do, the books that I want to read. I'm super excited to see what is to come. I cannot wait to see all of the books that I read in 2026. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all next time. Bye!